Hi there, and welcome to the Desk Jockeys web application. In this video, we will walk through the various areas of the application step by step. We will cover basic setup and then move on to data input within the web app. In order to enter the application, you will need to enter the username and password you chose during the sign-up process. The first thing you'll see when you enter the application is the Learning Center. The Learning Center is your home for various videos and user guides, as well as support for the application. The Learning Center is composed of four main sections. The first is Setup, then Input, Calculation, and then Output. Each of these sections is filled with user guides as well as video tutorials to help you through the process. Below the four main sections of the Learning Center are specific application questions. These are more administrative in nature and cover various topics such as contacting support, changing your password, and then also canceling your account. When you're ready to enter the web app, simply scroll up and click the Enter Application button. This will bring you to the scenario creation screen. This is the start of the financial forecasting process. Here you have the option of choosing from three scenarios: likely, moderate, or aggressive. Each of these scenarios uses a specific set of assumptions. Click the Create button to choose a scenario. The first tab you'll see within the web application is the Company Introduction tab. This tab is where you will populate your company-specific information and data. Along the top menu, we have the Export button, Save, Scenario, which allows you to choose another scenario, Dashboard, Help, and Sign Out. To the right of the Desk Jockeys logo, there is a button to expand and collapse the side tab menu. Let's get started by adding the company logo. Click the Select Image button. This will open a window for you to choose your logo file to upload. Next, input the company name. Then the website, and corporate structure. Then choose an industry. Most industries are represented within the web app, but please contact us if you don't see the one you're looking for. Lastly, plug in the company address information. This will allow the Google Map to populate. Click Save before moving on to the next step. To get back into the application, click the Open button. We will then move on to adding your three company images. Click the Select Image button to choose your images. We suggest selecting images that are representative of the company. For example, an image of company products or equipment. Use images that will showcase the company and add personality. Move on to the About Us section next. Use this section to explain a bit about company history or other specific details about the organization. The next section delves a little deeper into the finances of the company. Let's start with the Loan Information section. First, select if your company has any debt from the drop-down menu. Then plug in the start date of your loan. Next, enter the initial amount of the loan, or the amount initially borrowed. Enter the loan interest rate. And finally, the term of the loan in years. Lastly, enter the model start date. Remember to save your work. We will now move on to populating the financial data, starting with the income statement. The income statement measures a company's financial performance over a period of time. Its main line items include revenue, gross profit, operating income, and net income. Start populating the income statement with your historical financial data, starting with revenue. As you enter the data, you will see numbers starting to calculate within the application. The income statement has a separate section for you to populate your operating expenses. As you enter your expenses, they will auto-calculate the operating expense line item. For the purposes of this walkthrough, we will only populate a few of the expense line items. You will notice that the items I populated in the expense section have calculated in the operating expense line. If your company has a depreciation expense line item, this will also calculate on the income statement. Continue to populate the other items on the income statement. You will notice that gross profit, operating income, pre-tax income, and net income auto-calculate. We will now move on to the balance sheet. The balance sheet is a snapshot of a company's assets, liabilities, and equity at a specific point in time. You will notice that some items on the balance sheet have already started to calculate. Start populating the balance sheet starting with assets and current assets. Your company may not have all the line items shown here on its balance sheet. You can skip the ones you don't have. Each subsection on the balance sheet will automatically calculate. For example, total current assets will sum up all of the current assets on the balance sheet for each specific year. Move on to the current liabilities section of the balance sheet. Some line items within the web app will auto-calculate. One of these items is the current portion of long-term debt. This is calculated based on the loan information you entered earlier. A debt schedule is provided to show a full breakdown of your debt. The debt schedule includes the initial loan amount, interest rate, and other related items. It also has a complete payment schedule by year, including the total payment, which includes both interest and principal payments. Continue by populating the other line items on the balance sheet. Another auto-calculated item is retained earnings. However, you will need to populate the first historical year on the balance sheet. It is imperative that the balance sheet balances in order for the application to calculate correctly. A balance sheet that balances is when assets are equal to liabilities plus equity. To make sure it does, we've included a check line to help you out. If the check line displays yes, the balance sheet balances. Next up is the cash flow statement. The only item you will populate here is the ending cash balance from the first historical year. All other line items are auto-calculated based on the other financial statements. On the income statement, the application has forecasted revenue and the other line items out for 5 years. And our balance sheet is now in balance. The Sources and Uses of Cash tab, which shows how your cash is earned and spent, is now live. The Ratio Analysis tab is also calculating, allowing for deeper insight into the company's financials. The Track to Actual tab allows you to track actual financial performance against forecasts. Simply plug in the actual performance to see a visual comparison to forecasts. The dashboard is your home for a visual representation of the company's financials. Items include income statement metrics, top 5 expenses, cash flow, and debt. As mentioned earlier in this video, there are 3 different scenarios for you to choose from. To create a new scenario, click the Scenario button. This will take you to the scenario screen. For this example, we will reuse our existing data from the likely scenario to populate the new moderate scenario. Once back in the web app, you will notice that all of your financial data has been pre-populated into the new scenario from the likely scenario. This is true for the income statement, balance sheet, as well as the cash flow statement. One of the more powerful features of the Desk Jockeys web application is the ability to create a curated financial PDF report with one click. To do so, simply click the Export button. The cover page of the one-click PDF report includes company information such as website and also the company logo. Below the company website is the date that the report was created. The one-click PDF report is made up of 3 sections: company overview, financial dashboard, and then also the financial statements. We will now scroll through the one-click PDF report so you can get an idea of its contents.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
If you are ever in need of support while working in the web app, simply click the Help button. This will bring up an email window for you to contact support. As you work your way through the application, keep in mind that your company's financial data may not be organized in exactly the same way as we have laid it out in the application. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you need any assistance. Thanks for allowing us to be a part of your organization.